provide important comparative data for parents, teachers, and educators on the school performance between charter schools and traditional public schools, and provide a new level of financial transparency and accountability that we hope lawmakers on both sides of the aisle will welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kerry. Of course, one of the constituencies that is going to find this of particular interest are people who are educators. And for a few comments on this site and what we've attempted to accomplish here would be Greg Ring, who's the superintendent of the Lorain County Educational Service Center. Greg?
Thank you, Dale. First of all, I'd like to thank Innovation Ohio and OEA for their work in developing the KnowYourCharter.com website. Bringing clarity to a decision is important, as where to send your child to school is essential, as parents are faced with several educational alternatives today. The website offers a quick and easy way for parents to make comparisons that can inform their decisions. As educators, we owe it to our taxpayers to be honest, transparent, and accountable for our academic and fiscal performance. KnowYourCharter.com is a welcome step in assuring this happens. It is time for Ohioans to have a meaningful conversation about school reform and the direction of the future of public education in the state of Ohio. We have started that conversation in Lorain County and will continue to engage our public around topics like school choice, vouchers, testing, accountability, and school funding. I encourage every community in Ohio to have a similar conversation as we seek to do the very best for Ohio's children. Once again, I'd like to thank Innovation Ohio and OEA for this important work. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. And now, it's your turn. We're happy to answer any questions that may be around. And please direct it to the person to whom you'd like to ask, or if it's just a general one, you certainly can do that as well. Julie?
Just a general question on how long this took you, how much money was spent on it, and did you add anything other than Colorado?
Sure, I can take that one. We use publicly available data, as mentioned, through the Department of Education, and our education policy fellow, Steve Dyer, has been monitoring and tracking that public information for a long time. We have been working on the development of the site for several months, and we're very proud of what we've been able to pull together. We think it's going to be a tremendous tool for parents, teachers, educators, and policymakers, and we think it will help fundamentally inform the education debate here in Columbus as we think about the future of education here in Ohio.
Can I answer quick?
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, Julie, the only thing that did not come directly from the Department of Education is the data on nonprofits versus for-profits. That came from their national groups that track for-profit operators and nonprofit operators. So actually you'll be able to go on the site and for the first time locally, you'll be able to determine, you'll be able to first of all see who the operator is. Freestanding just means that they're operating. And you'll be able to see what their status is, whether it's a for-profit or a nonprofit. So I know there have been a lot of questions, especially given the current White Hat case about for-profits, nonprofits, and that kind of thing. And you can go in now, find out which ones are run by for and nonprofit organizations. But there are national groups that keep track of those. National Association of Public Charter Schools and the National Education Policy Center of Colorado. So I took data from them and combined it to come up with, so that people can find out if their charter is being run by a non-for-profit group.
And specifically, what do you think about this interface is more, how does it compare with what people can just get straight from money?
Well, basically what it does is it takes 18 spreadsheets from the Department of Education and boils it down into a user-friendly, GUI format. I mean, that's so it's, again, instead of having to pull out 18 different spreadsheets on every school, in every school district. You can just go to this site and look through all the data yourself and make an informed decision.
Why was performance index pulled out for kind of like the main dashboard? A lot of charters will say we'd rather be compared on value added.
I think, first of all, there's performance index is kind of the bottom line. It measures student performance across all the measurables that are taken. The more kids that are doing well, the higher your performance index score. It's the closest thing we have to a one, to a single grade in any school. And again, it's when the department comes out with its overall grade, obviously that probably changing. This is a website that's going to be organic, and things will be added as things come online. But right now, the best indication of how the school is performing overall is the performance index, which takes into account all of their kids. And again, this doesn't hide from this has all the value-added data in it, so you can go in and see, if a charter wants to be compared with on value-added, go with their value-added score right on the site, compare it with the district. Go ahead. It's all there. But again, we made the choice to do that. I mean, some people also use the standards measure as an overall grade. But we chose performance index because without having the State Department actually coming out with an overall grade yet, it was probably the best way.
This is for anybody. Well, how would you respond to somebody who would call this an attack on charter schools? Thank you, Andy. I think what you'll see here is the data speaks for itself. In some circumstances, charter schools will outperform the public school district, and that's right here on the site. As Steve alluded, we don't hide from that. This is the data that we put forth. It's public data, and we intend to make it easier for parents, teachers, and educators to make a clear choice. Now, what you'll see is that in the vast majority of cases, the traditional public school district outperforms the local charter school. So again, this website is intended for the data to speak for itself, and we think it also provides a really valuable service to all those groups that I just mentioned to help understand really what the value in their educational options are and where and how they're performing. So I would hope that lawmakers, charter school operators, public education advocates would welcome this level of transparency. As someone who spent a lot of time here in the State House, at least over the last several years, getting clear information about charter schools is tremendously difficult. I know many of you who report on this subject probably know that as well, and we think this is about providing that choice for parents, and we also think it's about providing a new level of financial transparency that will help inform the policy debate and strengthen our education system in the future.
What are we not seeing because of some lack of transparency in Ohio law? What are some numbers that we're not seeing?
Yeah, so again, I mean, as Steve indicated before, the finding this information is really, really difficult. You have to do a double backflip to try to find some of this financial data for charter schools. You have to navigate 18 different spreadsheets. So what this site does is provide that information in one user-friendly source. So really, it's not necessarily about what's here that wasn't here before. It's just about bringing it forward and make it easily accessible and easy to understand.
And also, some of the financial data is not, you have to do some division. For instance, for instance, in Newark, charter cost per student, okay? That's taken off of what used to be called the SF3 report, or whatever it's called now, SFSF, or whatever it's called. Taken off the report, the last one from the last school year. And basically what it does is it says, here's how much per pupil the students were set to get before charters got their money and kids, and here's how much money the remaining kids get afterwards. that involves some division. But what you can find is that the direct impact on kids who aren't in charter schools is every kid in Newark not in a charter school loses $309.32 off what the state says they need to succeed. And this is the cost per classroom, so you multiply that by 25 for a typical classroom, and you get that much per classroom. And the big question is, whatever success charters may be having, is it worth that impact on kids who aren't in charters? And that's a policy question that I think a lot of policymakers need to think about. You've got districts like Columbus losing $1,000 a kid. And that $1,000 comes from every kid in Columbus, from the highest performing building and the highest performing kid loses $1,000. Is that worth it when you're seeing not a whole lot of bang for that buck? So again, I think those are the policies. This kind of thing is something that the site has that you have to know which Excel spreadsheet to work with and what division to do and what formula to plug into the cell. This is a lot.